Hello, welcome to Yin Yoga. So today we're going to continue on our 8-limb yoga path with limbs 6 and 7. They just work well when they're combined together. So limb 6 is Dharana. So that's focused concentration. The next step up, now that we're going into the inner parts of the yoga limbs, the pratyahara that we did last week, the withdrawal of the senses, it's kind of that in-between point. And prior to that is more the physical practices or external practices. And then limb 7 is Dhyana, and there's different interpretations of that. Some people consider that to be meditation. The one that I like best is continuous focus. So once you get Dharana situated, you flow right into that Dhyana. And for today, I really like the translations and the information in this book. This is called The Path of the Yoga Sutras by Nikolai Bachman. And this is one of my yearly or twice yearly books that I read through my morning readings. So what I'm going to share with you today about both of those actually directly comes from this book. And I will post this later to Facebook as well. All right, so that being said, for today's practice, half saddle will be the peak pose. You're welcome to bring in a bolster or a folded blanket for that. Other than that, you might not need any other props today, but always feel free to bring in what you need as you need it and practice as you need to. So that being said, we're going to start in a child's pose today. So whatever that child's pose needs to look like for you right now, maybe knees are together, maybe they're as wide as your mat, maybe they're somewhere in between. Maybe you need to not come all the way back with your hips just yet, and you need to just kind of be right here. You can also take forehead down, hands to the ankles or long in front of you. And if you're starting this practice and you notice that you're really tight, maybe just kind of move forward and back a few times here. Just a little dynamic movement before you settle in. Good. As you begin to settle into this child pose, notice the body, notice that breath. Big expansive breaths. Good. So pratyahara is that withdrawal of the senses, and dharana is that focused concentration. What that means is keeping your attention on a single place. So similarly to when we set an intention for practice, and I have you keep coming back to that intention, keep coming back to the breath, it's very similar to that. You're keeping coming back to it. So for example, sometimes I do a meditation where I just stare at an open candle flame. That's an external focus. Sometimes my internal focus can be as simple as envisioning myself in a state of blissful meditation, trying to get to that point of peace. But whatever it is, it should be something that you like, but you're not attached to. So going back to the flame example, I like that flame. I like fire in a fireplace or a candle. But if that flame goes out, I'm not so attached to it that I'm going to have a meltdown. I'm not going to dwell all day. It's like, my flame went out on my candle. My flame went out on my candle. The fire went out on my fireplace. So you like it, but you're not attached to it. So kind of bring something like that into your focus. We're going to focus on Dharana for the first half of class and Dhyana on the last half because one leads into the other. So as we begin to move here, kind of think about the first step to directing attention inward is choosing an object of focus. So something positive that you like, choose on that to focus on it. From here, we're going to inhale, come up a little bit, walk those hands over to the right. As you come over to the right, walk your left fingertips forward, lift the hips slightly, press into the right hand, sink towards the left, and breathe and expand. So that focused attention, it can be a physical object, it can be an image. Inhale and lift. Exhale, come back to center. Half or full child's pose here to reset yourself. Come back to the breath. And then from here, we'll lift a little bit. We're going to walk the hands over to the left. Walk your right hands forward. Lift your hips slightly, press into the left hand, sink towards the right side. Breathe and expand. So most of you know, I just graduated from health coaching school, so maybe another image that you could have is looking at yourself, thinking of yourself, what is your ideal of perfect health for you? What is the idea or image of perfect health for you and your body? Inhale and lift. Exhale, come back. Half or full child's pose here. And when you're ready, hands are going to come under the shoulders and we'll come back up. Good. So from here, I'm going to bring my folded blanket back in. Make sure my timer is close at hand. Good. And we're going to come into a Janu Sirsasana, and we'll do this on both sides. So let's start by taking the left leg forward. Now remember, if you're really tight in the backside, if it would help you to put a folded blanket, towel, or something like that underneath this leg so you don't have to remember to keep it a little bit bent, feel free to do that. But we're going to bring the left or back. Get my right and left going. Left leg, right foot's going to come into that thigh. Good. Sitting up a little bit here, maybe even moving the flesh out of the way of the sits bones and finding an anterior tilt of the pelvis. So the hip bones are going to come forward as the tailbone comes back. And I'm flexing my foot so my toes are facing me. Good. I'm going to take a big inhale. Exhale, I'm going to hinge forward with a long spine, almost to my fold. So for example, if I was in a vinyasa class, I would come down here. I'm in a yin class. We're going to be here for about 3 minutes. So I'm not going to come all the way to my max. And I'm just going to relax here. My body will let me know when it's safe to sink in deeper. Good. So as you come into that focused concentration, an object or an image that you like, but you're not attached to. Breathe and expand. So remember that first step to directing attention inward is choosing that object or image of focus. Now that's that Dharana. Dharana and Dhyana get mixed up sometimes because they're such a similar word. They're also spelled similar. Both start with DH and end in A. Focus on breath. Back to the focus of concentration. Remembering as we go through this practice, just a tip, pain, numbness, tingling, burning, never normal sensations. So if you feel those, you want to back off until you do not. Coming back to that focus of concentration, the Dharana. And from here, when you're ready, carefully come out of there. Before we take this to the other side, let's come to a gentle twist. So I'm going to inhale and lift, exhale, gently rotate to my left, rolling shoulders back. We'll lift, gently take that twist to the right, rolling shoulders back. And coming back center. Good. We'll switch out our sides now. So now right leg is going to come forward. Left foot's going to come in. Support the back of this knee as you need to. If you need to, reset your anterior tilt of the pelvis if you need to do that as well. So again, hip bones rock forward, tailbone comes back. Big inhale and reach. Exhale, hinge and come forward, almost all the way, but not quite. And then taking that down. So maybe another thought that you could have here is that I can carefully select an object that or image that does not disturb my heart mind, that heart mind connection. So to go kind of back on that image of, what would perfect health look like for you? So for me, that's being healthy. It does maybe at a healthy weight, but that doesn't mean that I have ripped abs and ripped muscles and those kinds of things. I can play around with a few pounds in each direction. I'm not, attached to a certain number on a scale. Because when you get attached to that certain number on the scale, especially as a woman, then it, becomes really rigid. It becomes unhappy. It's not a positive thing. You become attached to that. So for me, it's good health. My liver is not congested. My gallbladder is not congested. My kidneys are working well. My cholesterol is below 200. I have good digestion. I have more hormonal balance. My skin is not congested. I get good sleep. I have good energy for what I do. And I eat well. So for me, that's a, perfect health, not to mention, good mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, family and friend relationships, enjoying my career and what I do. All of those things impact your health. And from here, we'll carefully come out of there. Good. So just like before, we'll do a gentle rotation from side to side. So big inhale, exhale, gentle rotation to the right, rolling shoulders back a little bit, maybe looking behind you. And then we'll come back up to center, taking that over to the left, rolling shoulders back, looking a little bit more behind you, and coming back to center. So from here, we're going to take a wide-legged forward fold. So from here, I'm staying seated on my folded blanket. I'm going to take my legs out to the side here. And those of you that need it, you can always bring in a bolster or something here if you need that support. But if not, we'll be right here. So I'm actually going to scoot back a little bit, find that anterior tilt of the pelvis again. And again, make sure that you're not at your widest possible, which for me is right here. I'm just going to come in a little bit here. You want to give your body some space to sink deeper and to move. And then from here, big inhale, exhale, and we'll fold. 3 minutes. So coming back to the Dharana, that focused concentration, the object or image. Breathe and expand. Come back to that object or image. Try to keep a longer spine. Remember, your body will let you know when it's safe to sink deeper. And from here, we'll carefully come out of there. Carefully walk that up. Good. Take your peace fingers behind your knees and carefully bring them in. So for me, it would feel good right now to do a little bit of a windshield wiper. So I'm going to take my hands behind and do that. And then when you're ready, we're going to set ourselves up for our first half saddle. So I'm going to come forward here and I'm going to sit on my blanket. So I've got that here ready for me to do. And I'm going to bring my bolster behind me just in case I want to go backwards, then I've got that support. And I'm going to pull my blanket. So I'm going to sit this way, which means my right leg is the first one that's going to come back. And I don't want to have my foot and everything get tangled up in my blanket. So I'm just going to kind of move that blanket a little bit more to the left, as well as my bolster. I'm kind of putting that in alignment there, just so that doesn't happen. So from here, we'll get into this the right way. Left leg's going to come forward. I'm going to roll over onto my left side, grabbing that right ankle and coming in here. Now, those of you that have knee issues or you're just really tight in the hip flexors and the quads, knees, what have you, sit up higher. You want to sit up higher. So maybe you have a few blankets, maybe you're on a pillow, maybe you need to sit on the bolster. Sit up higher. Remember, we never want this knee to hang around and bounce around in space. That's really risky. And then while we're here, I'm just going to start sitting up nice and tall, and you can always just kind of take a rub. And I kind of like to do a little, I don't know, like spider fingers, creepy fingers, kind of a little bit more of a massage in this area. It helps to kind of loosen things up and just go down through the shin and the calf and maybe even to the tops of the feet. Good. Let's begin to start to come into more of the Dhyana, different ways to say it. As once we come into that focused concentration and we stay in that focused concentration and it's not fleeting in and out, you know, which will happen to everybody in the beginning because that's just how we are. And you start to kind of stay there, then you're moving into that Dhyana, that continuous focus. Now, just like last week, I admitted the pratyahara, that withdrawal from the senses, is very hard for me. These more inner workings, the Dhyana and Dharana, are hard for me to do because we live in a society that is all over the place, literally and figuratively. So it's hard to find that concentration. But how do we get there? We practice. We keep coming back and we practice because practice makes progress. So from here, if you want to start to go back a little bit, you can. Maybe you support yourself with the hands. Again, remember, you want your knee to be grounded. We don't want it to be floating up. And on this side, at least, I'm going to stay right here. I'm not going to go all the way back. So coming back to that focused concentration. The object or image. Always returning the breath. So carefully come up. If you went back, rock over to the left side, release your right leg. And then maybe it needs to do a little bouncy bounce, or maybe you need a little rub here. Take care of yourself. And when we're ready, we'll take that to the other side. So just so that my back is not to you and so you can see, I'm just going to flip my bolster to the side. I'm going to move my blanket over to the right. Let's move this over here. Good. Good. So now my right leg is going to be long in front of me. I'm going to rock over onto my right side, grabbing left ankle and taking that foot behind. So again, this might be different for you on this side than the other side. Knees, everything is different. So sit up higher if you need to do that. Have that bolster back there if you need that. Start rubbing if you need to do that. Taking in the breath. And even while you're rubbing, you can still come back to that focused concentration. Trying to keep that attention on one single place. From here, you can stay right where you are. If it's safe for you to come back a little bit with support, you can do that a little bit or a lot. So today I can come back a lot. So I'm going to take that over here. So remember, as you come back, if you're going to do that, that knee stays grounded. It doesn't float up in the air. Come back to the focus, concentration, the object or image. So from here, if you went back or all the way back, carefully help yourself come out of there. Good, rolling over onto the right side, carefully release the left side, and maybe do a little bouncy bounce or a rub here. Take care of yourself. And then from here, since I'm in this wonderful position, we're going to go right into caterpillar from here. So if you need to readjust what you're sitting on or need to sit on something or come off of something, you can go ahead and do that. Remember, some people like to do this one with a bolster, some people not. I'm going to put my bolster to the side. Legs are traditionally together. If you are someone that need to have your legs a little bit wider apart, then please do that. But other than that, big inhale and reach. Exhale, come forward almost to your edge, but not quite there. And then you can round and come. Breathing and expanding into the back body. Good. So remember, as we're practicing Dharana, once we have that focused concentration that's no longer fleeting, we can stay with that. Then we move right into the Dhyana. So think about Dhyana as a centerpiece for turning inward and necessary for that inner light of awareness. And so some people interpret Dhyana as meditation. So if you can hold that focus then Yeah, you're meditating because you're not thinking about I'm meditating, I'm meditating, I'm meditating. You're focusing on that point of concentration. So when you're meditating, basically you're meditating or whatever it is you're meditating on. You're not thinking about I'm sitting here and I'm meditating. I'm meditating now. I'm meditating now. It just happens. Okay. So that tends to happen when that single idea is present in the heart mind. From here, when you're ready, carefully come out of the caterpillar. Low back might feel a little bit vulnerable here. So again, gentle rotation in one direction, gentle rotation in the other. Good. And then from here, we're going to come onto our backs. So if there are things that you like for Shavasana, for example, I want a little head neck pillow today, so I'm going to take that back there. And I'm going to move my bolster up towards my head just so it's easy for me to grab, but not in my way. And we're going to come down here into our backs. And if it would feel good for a moment to bring your knees into your chest, go ahead and do that. And we're going to take this into a just very simple supine twist. So arms will come out to the side. Good. Knees in tabletop, knees over hips, shins parallel to the floor. We're going to take the knees to the right. Good. And then maybe looking to the left. So in that Dhyana, that single focus, present in the heart mind. As the heart mind concentrates on that chosen object, maybe things in the peripheral and distractions rather, gradually fade away. And it goes like with the pratyahara, the withdrawal from the senses. They're all related. And from here, when you're ready, gently take head and neck from back to center, one leg at a time back to center. Just kind of give yourself a wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And we're going to take that into the other side. So now, knees are back in tabletop, arms are long, and taking the knees over to the left, maybe looking to the right. And something to focus on here is, thinking about yourself, I will progress toward complete understanding of any chosen object or image, whatever it was that you chose. Connect with the breath and that chosen form of concentration, that object or image. Good. Head will come back to center. Carefully take one leg at a time, back to center, and we'll wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And when you're ready, we're going to come to the Shavasana from here. So set yourself up for a good one. Sometimes I'm more relaxed if I have a bolster or something under my legs because my low back is often really tight. And then once you settle in here, good. We're going to go through a little bit of a relaxation thing to come into it. And then I'm going to encourage you to come into what's called a japa meditation, which you repeat the same thing over and over and over and over, and that keeps your focus on it. So you can come back to that focused concentration that you've been focusing on throughout this practice. Or if you need something different, that's fine too. So always a good one that I use often here is peace. That means different things to different people. Do you need or want inner peace? Is that peace within the family, peace within the home, your community, the country, the world at large? wherever that is, work, whatever it is, think about that. And you're just going to say that over and over and over and over. And once your mind starts to stray, and it always does in the beginning, then that meditation will bring you back onto track. Okay, so from here, good. What I want you to do is tighten up the whole body and then slowly release, slowly release, slowly release, slowly release, trusting the ground, slowly release. Now from here, we're going to do that again. Big inhale and tighten everything up. And slowly release, slowly release, slowly release, slowly release. Release deeper from the toes and the feet, the lower legs, the knees, the thighs, the glutes, the front of the pelvis, the belly, the back, the hands, the lower arms, the elbows, the chest, the mid-back, the upper back, the heart, the upper arms, the armpits, the shoulders, the neck, the throat, the jaw, the tongue, the cheeks, the eyes, and the forehead. Begin to breathe and bring in that japa meditation, peace, or something that you need right now. Taking in some deeper breaths here. Choose stillness or gently take the head and neck from side to side. Choose stillness or invite movement of fingers and toes. Choose stillness or taking knees into the chest, choosing to keep the upper body grounded, or maybe you want to lift it up into a full body hug. And choosing stillness Removing any props out of the way if you used any during your Shavasana time. Taking legs long in front of you, arms long behind you, and reach and lengthen from the edge of the fingertips, the edge of the toes. Full body stretch, point and flex the feet. Bend and stretch through the hands, twirling wrists and ankles in one direction, and then in the other. And then from here, whenever you're ready, bending in both knees, and you choose rolling over onto your right or left side, the side that works best for your body in this moment. Taking all the time that you need here. And when you're ready, we'll carefully come back up to a seat where we started our practice. Noticing for a moment how you feel. Palms up, inhale when reach, touching palms together. Exhale, hands to come back, start center. Reconnect with that focused concentration, AKA your intention, one more time. We'll take the thumbs to the forehead for good and true thoughts. To the lips for good and kind words. And to the heart for open and loving hearts. Knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted. No gain is ever reversed. May you be safe. May you be well. May have a wonderful day and week ahead. Namaste.